That's better. All right, so I've got my sculpture prepped and ready. It's time for me to start moving into doing some laying down some alphas so that I can lay on texture, essentially a texture pass. I'm currently at 782 points, so not a huge amount, but that should be enough to get most of your form blocked out. What I want to do now is retopologize this, so I've got really nice geometry, and I want to be working in subdivision levels here, so I can go back to a low subdiv and then all the way up to a really high detailed one. First thing I'm going to do is make sure I've got the correct subtool selected, and then I'm going to come down in my geometry menu to Z-Remesher, turn off Adapt, turn on Half, and I'm going to tick Keep Creases here. Yeah, and what Z-Remesher does, if I show you, by turning on my polyF line fill, you can see that the distribution of my polygons is pretty even. What Dynamesh does is it just goes, just have more, and it does it in like a grid pattern and just throws topology. Z-Remesher will try and give you good topology. So where you've got creases, it'll try and put lines so that you've got the ability to fold polys around that line. It will also give you a higher density of polys where you've got more detail, and then a lower density where you've got less detail. It's not perfect, and there are, if you want to get into designing for game or animation, what you will need to do is learn how to retopologize. I can show you some tools for that where you actually start to draw in. I know it's really nerdy, but like drawing proper retopology patterns, so you get like the right creases around the mouth and the eyes.
I've seen that. It looks awful. Sorry,
yeah, it's a horrible process.
Turn off Adapt and put half on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
and keep creases.
So Z-Remesher,
Yeah.
keep creases,
Yeah.
turn off Adapt, and turn half on. Right. What this is going to do, it's going to take our active points and aim to half that.
Yeah.
To be honest, no matter where you're at, if you're at 3 million here, it's probably going to end up at somewhere around 250,000 on your first pass.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to hit Z-Remesher there. And wait for a moment and do a little song. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. This seat is better than yours. Did a bit show. I don't know the words. It's never too early for a bit of Beyonce. Is it not? Who is that? I don't know. I stopped listening to new music in 1996. The fact that I knew a song that was in your lexicon is incredibly impressive. Thank you very much. Right, as this has happened, now you can see what I was talking about there. The polys and the way that the polys are laid out, you see how they kind of flow around the forms a little bit more now? They loop around things. I'm down to 250,000 polys. Ooh, it's like I've done that before.
How far would you take it down?
I'm going to get down to like 50. Yeah, I want this to be really chunky. So I'm going to hit Z-Remesher again. Don't need to mess with any settings. It should move a little bit faster here because it's got less calculations to do. The first one is like when you tidy in your room and you've not done it for a while and you walk in, you go, right, I'm going to tidy this. Oh my God. And you've got to stand there for like 5 minutes and just try and figure things out. That's what it does the first time around. This is like the second time is kind of like if you've been on top of it and it's just like someone's coming round, so you're just putting stuff away. Much nicer. And you can see they're starting to spread out around here. We've got a much tighter packing of polys. Where are we at? 113. Let's go again. Uno más.
Isn't there a step as well where you have to project history? I remember that.
Fucking thanks for reminding me about that, kiddo. It's a good job. I can track back on my history. Yeah. We all fucked up there. I've done this a few times before. It's not really a big deal if you forget. No, it's not really a big deal if you forget. I'm down to like 50,000 points here. If I want to scroll back along my history, I get back to my original topology. What I want to do before I start any of this, or at some point before the end of it, is control. What am I saving? Control and click up here where you can see that kind of is that bit of the history now has now got a little white block in it, but now I can skip back along. That little grayed out section means that the history is recorded at that point. We're gonna call back on that in a minute. Thank you very much.
No, it's okay.
Keeping me honest there, Harves.
Because I was like, I swear that's a step. I swear.
I think that's going to be fine. I don't really want to go more than that. You can go more than that, and we're going to go more than that in some of the next steps, but this is fine for now.
Do you need to do it with every individual bit, or do you have to have merged your subtool?
At this point, if it were for a sculpture that I was working on that I was applying texture to, I'd keep everything separate and retopologize each bit separately, because you want to maintain your subtools being individual for as long as possible. Yeah, especially if you're applying alphas. Yeah, you don't want the same alphas to drop onto the gums that you want. So, or you know, applying texture around the eyes, you don't want it to stick onto the eyeballs. Are you okay? You're making some grimaces.
Yeah, I'm just in a lot of pain.
You're grimacing.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
Cool.
All my subtools have merged themselves.
Be fine. All right. What I'm going to do here now is come up to the top of my geometry menu and hit divide. 1, 2, 3 times. Yeah, that's got me up to 3.2 million points. If I turn my line polyfill off, it's all smooth. But for something around this size, I think 3 million is okay for getting a lot of alpha projections onto. Obviously, you can go bigger if you want to get really granular and cellular with this. But I think that for something of this size, like for a head, 3 million is great for applying alphas to. Once I've done that, it's kind of like, oh, but it's all smooth and shiny, like a Kardashian.
Hello.
Did I get that reference right? That was another modern day reference. I think I felt like that was pretty on point. Cool, good to hear. All right, so what I'm going to do is remember this little thing that we did right at the start and we didn't forget about at all. We're going to take that history and project. So what we're doing is that's taking a little impression of our topology, so the distribution of our points, not the amount of them, because that's our geometry. Yeah? So what we've done is changed our geometry by reducing it and then increasing it, and it's all nice and neat and everything flows in lovely patterns. And because it's in multiple subdivision levels, we can jog down and make big changes as well as doing really nice intricate detail stuff. This is the joy of working in ZBrush. But our topology is really different because everything's kind of smoothed out. So I'm going to go into my subtool menu and I'm going to come down to project down here, and I'm just going to hit project history. Now that's going to look along my history bar for one of these little grey marks and go, this is the topology you want me to project over this current geometry. And the computer will sound like it's taking off. It really does sound like that bit. You're like you sat in the airplane and it's just like, okay, we're about to go. It's like, whoa!
You remesh and then project history.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So you drop it all the way down to around 50.
Okay.
And then divide. If you aim for around 50,000 and divide 4 times, you're going to be around 3 million. Tends to be about how it works. Yeah, that's fine. Like if you feel like you need that level of
Probably not, but I'm
No.
just reminding myself of it at the minute. I'll probably go back and redo it a couple more.
Okay, so that's having a. Oh yeah, that did it. There wasn't a lot. I'm remembering the one. So that is retopologizing. So now if I want to, so if I grab my, I'm already on standard. Remember, standard's a really good brush for using alphas with. If you need to do any poly painting or alphas, then standard's your brush. All the others have weird little modifiers attached to them. I'm going to come into here, grab from my assets, alphas. Look at this, old face alphas, young face alphas. I'm going to jump into old face, grab the Photoshops, face maps. Let's do this. If I load a bunch of those in, let's grab iTop. And you can see that kind of as I move this around, it drops to that lowest subdivision level because it just helps the computer process. But now I can drag out alphas and they should sit really nicely. Yeah, if I do that and I feel like things are getting a little crunchy, like It's kind of crunchy once you zoomed in. You could probably, depending on the size of the thing that you're producing, you might want to go a little bit higher than that. But obviously I'm going to come in once I've done that stuff with my damn standard and like finesse some of these bits, and this is kind of how. So yeah, depending on what I was making this for, 3 million might be, but really it's going to be way smaller than this when it's printed. It's going to be about, it's not going to be a huge thing. That's easily enough level of detail. Everyone happy with that?